Hi.
Hi. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're home.
Welcome back to Philadelphia.
We're back.
We're back in our home
for
city.
the winter.
Girl, it feels like winter out there right now.
It does. What's up with this? Like, you and I are dressed so cozy
I know.
right
I'm
now.
like, ooh, cozy, girl.
Yeah. Meanwhile, last time we saw each other, we were like,
we were
so
literally like so moist.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, yeah.
Especially because our last episode literally started with us just like complaining about the heat. We were like, it's just been really hot.
Yeah. And now we're
like,
it's so
cold.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the time you're listening to this, probably be hot again.
Probably be real hot.
Weather. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we're back with an extra special episode. We had a whole trip to recap, baby.
It feels like it was so long ago.
It was a week ago today that we were there.
And yet, it was just like yesterday.
Isn't that so wild to think about? Like,
it really is so wild. I'm like so sad. I'm just like, damn, I can't believe it's over.
No, but it's like you experienced it.
Experienced
to
it.
Look forward to
and now we have something really good to talk about. Real good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the moment being like, oh, this is going to be so fun to talk about. And we have so much to spill because we did a little recap. You know, if you caught our live app from last week, we talked a little bit kind of high level, but this is where
we're going to get into the deets.
Get into it. Yeah.
Overall, first impressions, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous gowns. Like, the presentation walking into the park, beautiful.
I think we need to take a step because
maybe we should start from the very beginning, which was
think about it.
A week ago today.
Yeah, it's crazy
that we were at Epic, but also that I hopped on a flight at 5:40 a.m.
So
literally so early.
Yeah, I was brushing my teeth in my bathroom. You were already at the airport, and you were like, "Girl, we're going." I was like,
"Girl."
Yeah.
I was like, I was at the airport.
Yeah.
At like 5:30, but like. I was like, you know what? I was getting in line to like literally board the plane, and I was like, let me just like go onto the Universal app. Let's just like see what it's giving.
Yeah.
If there's like any tickets available. I literally like I was hoping we would get to go, but that was not like I don't think I was like, I don't know, overhyping myself up for it. Like I was like, if we go, great. If not, no big deal. It's still gonna be a great trip. But I got onto that app, honey, and there were ticks.
You got it.
I snagged them immediately.
Yeah.
For that day, which is like wild.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's a pro tip. We had been hearing this, that they were doing these little like daily drops of them where it was like if you looked a week in advance, because we had been checking leading up to the trip, and it's like they were not available
every day for like a month leading up. Yeah. Basically.
But
nothing.
Just, like, day of.
And then day of at like 5:40 a.m.
Yeah, honestly, worth it. It was like such a good way to start the trip too, because then it was like this immediate jolt of like optimism. We're like, oh, stuff's gonna work out for us.
I was just like, damn, like it was so. I felt on top of the world. Really good.
Great.
And then I couldn't. Like I was like, I wanted to take a nap on my flight. I was like, I cannot.
Yeah, so excited.
I was like, I'm literally going to Epic Universe today.
Yeah.
I'm in Philly right now, but like later today, I'll be in Epic Universe.
And not even later today, like literally later that.
Like a few hours.
Yeah, it's crazy because the flight is really easy from Philly.
Yeah, it's only like 2 hours.
Yeah, and we're just saying if anybody wants to sponsor, like if you just so you know, it's really easy for us to get there.
Real easy.
Just so you're aware. Yeah.
I couldn't even.
Yeah. Good.
Believe it. But okay, so like the flight was quick.
Barely checked in, like honestly.
We barely checked into our hotel. Well, we met up at the airport. We were so freaking excited.
Yeah, we did.
We were literally screaming.
Yeah.
People thought we were insane, I'm sure.
Sure. They were correct.
And they were correct. They would be correct.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. And then we went to our hotel. We stayed at CBR this time.
Loved.
Great. Yeah.
That was also just like such a moment checking in. I have never stayed there, but you feel like you are on vacation. You got on your vacation, like your vacation has started officially. Like that is like the most vacation-y vibes.
Definitely is.
Of any resort.
Tropical. Yeah. It was nice. And we were like debating whether or not it was worth it to try and like wait it out to change because of course we had fits planned for Epic. Like we were really like manifesting preparing it.
Yeah,
like we were like, oh, we'll go. So we'll pack outfits for it, which I'm glad we did because we both look fly as hell. But we were
that was like my favorite outfit, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
Clearly.
We were like trying to figure out if we were going to change at the hotel or if we were going to like go all in, like wait until our room was ready. And we did both. I was like, I'll just change in the family bathroom. And then of course, as soon as I did, then it was like, your room's ready.
I just had a feeling that would happen too. I was like, I know as soon as we start changing, be like, your room's ready.
Yeah, just as well. Yeah. So we threw our stuff down. We changed super quick into our fits. And then we like hauled to the ladies and went over to Epic. I feel like it's worth noting just like the arrival of getting there, because I feel like
good point.
It's definitely like, because it's a new park, I mean, it's just
empty around it. Like there's literally like nothing around it.
There.
It's like there's a few trees scattered here and there, but it just was like, I feel like you could look out at any direction and there's like nothing.
Yeah, it's like wasteland.
Yeah, you could like, there, as far as the eye can see, nothing really.
Yeah, well, except for the sewage treatment plant, but yeah.
Well, that, yes, you could see that.
As far as the nose can smell.
And honey, when you were walking in,
literally
you could
from the
smell
parking lot. Okay, just want to take a note to say this.
Pissed that we're talking about this, but you know what? We've got to be honest.
I am being honest, because guess what? When I went on the last time when I went to the preview back in April, and then I talked about it on this very podcast, everyone was dragging me for it. Yet here we are now, so now I have someone else who can corroborate it. We weren't even in the park yet.
I believed you, of course. Of course I believed my sister.
Why would I lie?
Why would you lie? But I will say, like, yeah, it was like one of the first things I noticed when I got out of the Uber.
Yeah.
Literally, I was like, "Ooh."
Yep.
But like you said, you did say this as well. It's not like a constant, like you're like smelling it constantly. Like it's like you get a whiff every now and then.
Yeah, I would say the word is more like frequently rather than constantly. It's not like consistent.
Yeah, it's not a consistent like overall smell like all the time.
You get like breezes of it.
Sometimes you just get like a breeze and you're like, oh.
Frequently, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were like walking into the park and I was like, do you smell that? And you were like, no.
I was like, no. Oh, it's true, Rachel. It's true.
It was Rachel. So yeah, walking in, I feel like it's interesting that you notice that like it really is brand new, because there's just nothing built out around there. There's just like literally wasteland, some brand new baby trees. I felt like the sign pulling up, I was like, take note of how little this dinky like sign is when you pull in. It's like, meow. Like,
I mean, yeah, I feel like give it like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it'll be a vibe, because I feel like there will be a lot of like grown trees. Like, I feel like that'll like help the illusion a little bit. Like, cause you really just like, I don't know, like when you're driving in, you really just like see everything. You're like, everything is just like literally right there.
Every attraction, every portal of the hotel. You can see the hotel from like far away.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a very long path that like you walk up to the gate in the blazing sun.
Yeah.
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 With no shade.
Yeah. And then you get to actually see, you know, the Kronos, which is like the icon of the park. Very cool, honestly. Super impressive in person.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, there's a lot of kinetic energy. There's stuff moving, and, you know, at nighttime, beautiful. Like gorgeous.
The whole park is like, that's when it really like comes to life and just like is incredible. Like obviously you've said this many times, but like theme parks at night are the best, but this one specifically is just like, wow, breathtaking at night.
Yeah. I think what it is too is like the contrast is so much more apparent at nighttime because there isn't really much vegetation there yet.
Yeah.
So like the like level of immersiveness isn't really there because, you know, sight lines are an issue, which we'll get into, and like there isn't really shade, so there isn't really a way to like disguise things as well. You don't really feel like you're like entering these like different kind of lands as well, but at nighttime when they're really able to like, you know, kind of bring in your visuals better, I think it's like stronger.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I mean, still gorgeous, especially the opening, like once you walk through
with the music,
the gate,
like the music is incredible.
Beautiful.
Really builds like the excitement. I mean, we were really excited. I was freaking out. Like it's incredible. Like I also just feel so lucky to be able to go to like a brand new theme park. That's like something I've never experienced in my life. And who knows how long it'll be until we do that again. But like, I don't know. It just was really very, very exciting.
Yeah,
oh my
it was
God.
very cool.
It was so cool.
Yeah, we were freaking out about it. We filmed a little transition video because a few weeks ago, leading up to Epic, you know, they had a mini like activation of the Kronos here in Philly because, as we said, Comcast, NBC Universal, you know, is based here in Philadelphia. So they had one of those. We went to go see it, and then we were like, "Ooh, we have to film a little transition video."
Oh my God! And we like we were like, I hope we get to film that. I just didn't know if we were going to be able to finish that video, and we did.
Yeah, we did it.
It was so cool.
It was so cool.
It was so cool.
Loved it. So we walked into
Celestial Park. The views in Celestial Park, gorgeous.
Beautiful.
The vibes are immaculate.
Yeah.
Like, once you're in, you're starting to feel the fantasy. Honestly, like, low-key Celestial Park may be, like, my favorite area of the park.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic of it.
The aesthetic's really good.
We were talking about how it's kind of giving
Oz.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Emerald City vibes.
Yeah, it's very, like, turn of the century futuristic. So, like, Discoveryland in Disneyland Paris, Wizard of Oz, Wicked, like that kind of vibe where it's, like, steampunk futuristic kind of. Like, there's a lot of, like, that sort of patina, like, green metal mixed with, like, bronze and gold. And then it's mixed in with these kind of, like, Art Nouveau kind of swirly kind of lines and stuff, like beautiful,
like
kind
gears
of, like,
and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They had like bubbles like going off in the entryway.
Yeah, very cool water features.
Yeah,
there's like that fountain.
Yeah, there's
tiered.
like a lot of mist features, which we needed definitely because it was so hot. But yeah, the fountains were beautiful.
Yeah,
like that statue that you see when you first walk in. I'm not really sure who that's supposed to be, but like incredible.
I think it's a moon in the entrance and a sun at the hotel at the back.
And then you could like, your view like goes down Celestial Park. You could see the carousel, Constellation Carousel, and then behind that, the hotel. Like that's maybe, I feel like that sight line is like the best in the park.
Cool because you're elevated where you enter and then you go down to kind of go into the rest of the park. So it's kind of cool to be able to see like your first image. You can basically see the entire park from like walking in. It's like, oh, there it is. You can see all 4 portals, like the hotel off in the distance, everything all spread out. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that did surprise me is like, it's not that big. Like the park, like you pretty much, you could see, like you just said, you could see everything like right in front of you.
Yeah.
All laid out. Which honestly is like, it's cool. I mean, the size didn't like bother me at all. I still felt like it was a substantial park, but like square footage wise, you can like kind of tell. You could tell it's pretty small.
I wonder how with time, once it fills in, how that will feel different potentially. Like with more vegetation, will you still be able to see all 4 portals at once? Is it going to be a little bit more meandering? Like, oh yeah, around this corner is the other one. Or is it still always going to be like, this is it, here's the whole map? Especially once they expand it and they add additional portals. Bring more lands into it. I'm just curious to see how that plays out. So what was the first thing that we did? I feel like the first thing we did was eat.
The first thing we did was eat. We didn't eat all day. Yeah. So to Pizza Moon.
To Pizza Moon. Worth it.
Delicious.
Again, really strong, solid way to start the day.
And one of the most impressive things at Epic Universe that we discussed was like the way their quick service restaurants are run. I thought that was like so solid. Go in, you order on the app, then they like, you're in line while you're doing this. Then they seat you at a table, you scan the barcode at your table, and then they come deliver the food. And it honestly, like, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Love
it's
that.
a little bit less clunky, I would say, than like Disney's mobile ordering system where like you're mobile ordering, but then you're just kind of meandering, standing around, waiting to go to a window and get it. It's nice to be able to like actually sit down at your table and then have someone bring it to you.
Totally.
Cool.
Loved that.
Yeah. And the aesthetic in there, again, beautiful. Continuation of that, like, Discoveryland vibe. So cool.
A lot of kinetic energy. There's, like, a lot of, like, things going on above you. Like, it's kind of giving, like, a clock.
Yeah.
/ stage.
Yeah, it's like circus.
It's very Wicked, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it feels like Moulin Rouge in here.
Yeah, very
like,
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the pizza was so good.
Which I will say credit where it's due. Most of the time, I feel like the food at Universal is not giving. Like, it's just not. Yeah. And that pizza was not even just good by, like, theme park standards. Like, I would eat that here in Philly. And be like, that was excellent.
The dough was great. It had, like, a little salt to it. Like, a little pinch of salt. I love, like, a little bit of salty dough.
Yeah, it was nice. I would call it, like, Neapolitan style. Yes. It was, like, that kind of vibe. It was really good. We just got, like, a basic girly. But we just got, honestly, like,
I think it was just, like, a margarita, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
delish.
So legit. And we were like, should we finish this whole thing? Because we're about to go ride something intense.
Yeah, we were like already planning our first ride, which was Monsters. And We were like, should we eat this whole thing? Spoiler, we did.
Yeah, it was worth it.
We were like, yeah, we have to.
Because
it was so good. I couldn't waste that.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way.
No, it was amazing.
So
and I
good.
was scared that Monsters was going to be nauseating. And I am proud to report back. I posted this on the stories as a tummy ache survivor. I'm proud to say, like, I didn't find it nauseating at all.
No, I thought it was pretty chill. I mean, it definitely had thrills, but it wasn't like I was like shaking violently in my seat.
No.
You know?
No,
it was
it's
like very
smooth,
like
it's not jerky. Yeah. I would say the like theming and the subject matter is like intense and scary,
yes,
but like the
yes.
ride itself, the actual like motion of the ride vehicle and going through it, I didn't find to be intense really at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it because
let's get into it.
I thought that was the best way to start the day.
Such a good...
The land, walking into that land, that was the land I was most excited for.
You're dressed on theme.
I was dressed on theme.
Yeah.
It didn't disappoint. Walking into that land was like so freaking cool. Very immersive. I mean, in the back of the land, there are some sightline things going on. But when you first walk into the land, you're like fully immersed pretty much.
Yeah. Walking through the portal, so cool. Because each portal is themed to the land, and then they have like the little writing over it in the portal that
it's alive.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it's like purple and like lightning-y.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. The music.
The music is incredible. Danny Elfman. Yeah, there was like characters. We saw Igor, I think. There was like some lady playing the violin and telling us a spooky story.
Yeah, she was yapping about something.
There was like a bell tower, like a really creepy old bell tower that was like chiming. I was like, ooh, the vibes.
There's like mist everywhere.
Yeah, there's mist everywhere. There's like coffins that you could like take pictures in, which we did.
Yep, sure did.
It's
really cool.
So
I cannot
cool.
wait for that to be like Halloween season there.
Oh,
it's gonna be so good in the fall.
It is it's like not a huge land though. It's pretty small. So if they do have like a Halloween Horror Nights thing in there, I'm like, I wonder how they would do that because it's not that big.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool. You do really feel like you're in like a little kind of, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be like Eastern European village or something.
Kind of giving like
Frankenstein.
Sleepy Hollow vibes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Everything's very like dramatic angles and like everything's painted like black and like super dark and like stone and stuff. There's like a big well, I think, in the middle that's like spewing like steam and mist out of it. That was cool. Yeah. Yeah. So then we walk, and in the back corner of that land, as you kind of meander through, is like the Frankenstein Manor or whatever, and there's like lightning shooting out of it and stuff.
Striking the...
And I was like, ooh, I'm so... Yeah, I was terrified. I was like, oh, this is going to be a lot. I'm really freaked out.
Yeah, that facade for that show building is like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
The whole queue was beautiful.
The whole queue was beautiful.
You're walking through like her experiments and stuff.
Victoria.
Like, a big portrait of the 1800s. I think in the context of this universe, it's supposed to be like the modern day. I think that like she is like a contemporary scientist, but like all these monsters are like oldie timey.
She was funny. She was trying to, I don't even know. The family name, yeah, exactly.
Protect the legacy.
Protect that legacy, honey.
Yeah.
They called my grandfather a monster.
Yeah, her voice is funny.
Her voice was crazy.
Yeah. So you walk through the queue, they give you this little pre-show, and they really try and psych you out because they show you the ride vehicle in the pre-show, and Igor is like whipping it around, and I'm like, this is going to be really bad. I'm like terrified. And we honestly like basically walked on. It was like, what, a 10-minute wait? Maybe it was like so quick.
I think it was 20 minutes.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Which I'm like, don't let the secret
the
get out.
Animatronic, the monster Frankenstein animatronic.
Yeah, so then you have the little pre-show, and she gives her whole spiel. And
we love.
Yeah. Really impressive. Yeah.
Loki.
Himbo. Yeah, he came walking out and was like, oh, she's like, turn the lights down. And he comes out, and like, I remember looking over at you and looking up, and I'm like, why is he kind of like... He is
mental illness.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's so cute when you go to leave to actually get on the ride vehicle. He's like...
He like waves at you. I got such a good video of that.
Nice. Yeah, it was good. It was a really cool pre-show. So then you get on the vehicle, and the vehicle is just a row of 4 with like a shoulder strap. Unprepared for just how high off the ground you are in that, because the sets in that are enormous.
I think that's like, really what like shocked me the most was how damn high we were.
Most scary thing.
I was like, oh my God, we are like 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, and I was wearing my clogs. I was like, what
on
if
a mechanical arm?
My little toes were curling to hold on to them. I was like, what if they just like fell off down there? Because you're so high up. And you're at different points completely on your back and then like completely forward. Like, and you drop and turn and stuff. Like, I was like...
The mechanics of that ride were so freaking impressive. Yeah. That really was, I think, the thing that like I took away most from that ride. I was like, how do you build that?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Like, wild.
I think what helped made me not feel nauseous was the fact that everything was real. I mean, there are screens on that ride, but they're so far away. Yeah. And they're behind practical sets. So there's like real set pieces, these gigantic animatronics that are like 10 feet tall, 20 feet tall, some of them. Huge, huge things. And like,
that one Dracula animatronic had to be like 10 feet tall.
At least.
Huge. Crazy. And then that one mummy animatronic that like comes out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Enormous. Scary.
Yeah. The werewolf part.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Yeah.
I don't know how like in depth we want to get with spoilers, but like,
I mean, if you're listening to our podcast, I feel like
the fire, like when I don't know who's playing the organ.
I think it's supposed to be the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, somebody's playing the organ in the beginning, messed up face, whatever. Yeah. And there's literally fire spewing from the organ. And I literally was like, we are like 4 feet away from that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we going to die?
It's like the first thing you see.
Literally
you like get off the like loading platform and it goes right into like...
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember being scared of they show the creature of the Black Lagoon part and the whole ride goes like, and like lurches forward. Down. And you're like facing down and he like jumps up out of the water underneath. It's like, ah! Yeah, it was cool.
It's really good. That ride was so impressive.
I know. I mean, we literally were like, we're going to ride that again before we leave.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was amazing.
We got off and I was like, I'm so glad that we did that. And I'm so glad that was the first thing we did. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really solid.
And then we were literally in the gift shop walking out and we were like looking for our photo. We couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show this is like an ongoing theme throughout our day.
Yeah.
But like the workers there, they were nice, but they definitely were just like they did not want to be there.
Yeah.
So this guy was like, hey, like, do you guys need help finding your picture? We were like, yeah, sure, if you can, like, whatever. He was like looking through the pictures and he was like, how did you guys like the ride? And we were like, we loved it. We were like, it was so amazing, like, just incredible. He was like, I hated it.
So flat like, to the point where we were like, is he joking? And then he was like, yeah, I hated it. We were like, why?
And we were like, why? And he was like, I don't know. It just, he
said it was boring.
He said it was boring.
Which
and I was like,
what?
How did you think that was boring?
Yeah, we were like, are you trying to be cool? And so we pushed him a little bit and we were like, well, how many times have you ridden it?
3. And he's like, I don't want to do it again though. I'm like, he's like, that was my last time, was the last time.
Okay. And then like a second after saying it was boring, then he said it was too intense. And I was like,
yeah, it was.
What?
And we were like, okay. Yeah. And then he like couldn't find our photo and we were like, that's all right. Don't worry about it. And then we were like, see ya.
Yeah. Yeah. Magical.
And
then we went over to the Burning Blade Tavern and had a little bevy. We wanted to try and sample things while we were there and see it. And I had heard tell that place was cool. It was nice. It was a cool place to hang out.
We had drinks. They were pretty good. We had like an Aperol spritzy guy.
Like a gin spritz.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah, it was good.
And we were with our Labubus and they had a little sip too.
Yeah. It was nice. It was just nice to be able to like be in the dark and in the AC for a little bit. Nice. Like vibe. And that way we completed the loop. So we walked around the Curse of the Werewolf coaster and then left through the portal, which is another thing that you can't really tell until you're actually at Epic that there really is like a separate exit, I guess technically entrance to each land. But like it's interesting how like you are kind of subliminally like pushed through the portal to go in, but then when you go to leave, like you do leave through like a little separate.
You do, but they're like right. You still could leave through the portal, but like they're right. The exits are right next to the portal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know, like it's interesting because like guest flow, I wonder how that like works, if it actually works the way they have it laid out.
Yeah.
Instead of like being able to like complete a loop around the park, you like have to like go in and kind of come out the same way.
Yeah.
In, out, and you're like always spit into like the central hub area.
Yeah. None of the lands connect to each other. They're all completely independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So after that, did we go straight to the
Harry
Ministry
Potter.
Then? Yeah, so we walked over to the Harry Potter stuff, which is also in the back of the park where Dark Universe is. And I was like, oh, you thought that was immersive, girl? Like, wait until you see this. And I was like, you're going to be gooped. And it is.
So impressive. Walking into that land, I was just like, I was shook.
Yeah. I think it's, if for nothing else, it's literally just the scale. Those buildings are, it's not even forced perspective. That's just literally like true, like building height. You're in a city.
And I remember being like so impressed with Diagon Alley when I went the first time at Islands of Adventure, or is that Universal Studios? Universal Studios. But this was that on crack.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
like
huge.
Also, just like the details was next level. Like the windows, all the window shopping, all of the displays in the windows, so fun.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
So intricate.
Again,
I was
with
just
the kinetic
like,
energy moving and spinning and
yeah,
yeah,
like mind blown.
Yeah, so cool.
It was
the
amazing.
level of detail.
The details.
Because there's like posters all over everything, because you're supposed to be like in the streets of Paris in the 20s, so it's every little piece of signage, every single thing, every font and color and detail, the texture of everything is just like gorgeous.
The colors.
It was awesome.
Gorge.
Absolutely
so many little
loved it.
alleys to like walk down and meander through. Like,
yeah,
you could get lost in there.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Did you get on Ministry first, or did we do the show first?
I think we did the show first. Yeah. And
what a highlight.
Spoiler alert, that was my favorite thing that we did that day.
Oh,
it was my favorite thing I did at Epic was the Harry Potter show.
Yeah. Cirque Arcanu.
Cirque Arcanu. Mind blowing.
We won't spoil it. We can save it, but we'll just say like,
by far the best show I've ever seen at a theme park.
Probably.
Period. Which is like crazy because I love Phantasmic.
Yeah. I mean, just the like technical wizardry that they pull off in that is so impressive.
It's so impressive.
Do not spoil it for yourself.
No,
I mean, they don't allow like cameras and stuff in there, but I'm sure by now people have like gotten leaks out. But like, go in blind. We didn't know what to expect. There is some true like magic happening in there. It's very cool. There's like multiple, there's pre-show, there's the actual. Yes, very cool puppetry happening, very cool stage magic happening.
Gorge.
Really kind of ties the whole theming of the land that we were just talking about, the level of detail and like the costuming and, the visuals that they're giving. It's
I got chills
incredible.
Many times.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we left that being like, oh, I'm feeling so good.
Yeah, after that I was like, this is the best like land in a theme park I've ever been in.
Yeah.
That was the vibe.
Yeah. And then we stopped into the like wand store because we were shopping around, had another sort of like weird interaction with a team member.
Yeah, they literally, so I had my Mickey, or your Mickey fan that you let me borrow for the day, and it had ears on it. People were literally harassing us because of this fan multiple times.
Yeah. Multiple different team members were like, ew,
yeah.
is that?
Yeah, like, ew, what are those ear? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I just need a fan. It's really hot. Like,
Yeah.
please. So anyway, we started talking to this other worker who was supposed to be working in the wand shop. At first, she wasn't in character. She was giving, that she was in the Harry Potter verse. But like shortly after, we started getting real friendly with her, and we were just like, complimenting her. She was really cool. And then all of a sudden, she was like, she got too comfortable. She was like, she like saw the fan. She was like, oh yeah, I used to work for the Rat. I was,
yeah, you're taking me out.
I was like, you're taking me out right now. But she was really nice. We gave her a sticker.
Yeah. It's just funny because it's like, I feel like that, again, it was like a recurring theme. You know what I mean? It's just, we saw this like throughout the day with so many different team members we interacted. There was just this like level of like, no one was ever mean to us ever, just to be clear. It was not.
It was very friendly. It was just like,
it's like not magical.
It's just not magical.
There's like, I feel like I'm not worked at either place, and I'm not trying to like speak on other people's experiences of being there. I'm sure it is very difficult being a team member or a cast member at either.
I give credit because honestly, I'm sure it's not an easy job.
So difficult. But like, I feel like at Disney, they must just prioritize like customer service is paramount. Like you have to give, magical, excellent level customer service no matter what.
Yes. And like,
and at Universal, I don't give a shit.
Disney, like, I feel like they really do go out of their way to make you feel special. Like any like, cast member interaction you have
anywhere,
it's always very like, oh my God, you feel like you leave with a like warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
At Universal, honey.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was not that. Speaking of less than magical, you finally decided to get on
Ministry of
Magic.
Magic.
I sat this one out because, again, Tummy Ache Survivor, I had heard that the motion simulation is like too much, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
So you did walk through the queue with me. There was a single rider's line. I was like, great, I'll just like get on the single riders because the standby was pretty long. Spoiler alert, the single rider's line is a scam. specifically for this ride. And it was crazy. Like while I was waiting in line, which ended up to be exactly the same length as the standby queue. Like, so if you're going to do it, you might as well just go in the standby queue. At least you're walking like in the standby. In the single riders, I sat on the ground with everybody in line for like half-hour spurts at a time. It was like insane. And honestly, like my mind was, I was just like, it was maddening.
You're like, this better be worth it.
I was like, this better be worth it. I made friends in line, though. We were all just like, what the hell is going on? And then we had people walking by us in the standby being like, yeah, don't do the single riders. It's a scam. We got all the way up there, but we had to leave. Like, we basically just sat in the same spot for like an hour. I was like, what? So I was like, oh my God, am I ever going to make it on this ride? And I was like, I felt like I had waited too long already to like leave and like try to start over again. And so 120 minutes later, I finally like make it up. First of all, also in this line, the queue is gorgeous. That first initial like area where you see like the signs of whatever her name is, I don't know, what's Umbridge, like hanging, like, the promotional pictures show this, this is like the not surprise part. But after that initial like amazing queue area, there's nothing, honey. Well, at least in the single riders. Nothing but steps and like just like long hallways.
Yeah.
So we were going up giant staircases just to go back down giant staircases. Finally, I get to the front. They literally are taking like one person at a time, maybe every 5 minutes in the single riders.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Needless to say, finally get on the ride. Me and this girl who I've been making friends with, we get seated right next to each other on this ride. Honey, the ride starts. I was so excited. I was so into it. I was like, oh my God. Like the first like 30 seconds to a minute, I was like, oh, this is crazy. This is like this is Universal's big one right here. Suddenly, the lights go out. The emergency gate comes up on the ride vehicle. And we're sitting there. They're like, the announcer comes on the intercom. The ride is temporarily delayed. We're like, okay, that's fine. At this point, I could see like all of like the ride mechanisms. Like the magic is definitely gone. I could see like a hanging like elevator like prop like in front of me. There's like screens on both sides, so it's clearly projection mapping. I'm like, okay, well, this took me out a little bit. We sit there for 10 minutes, then 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then finally a worker comes, and I'm also like, I could see below me, there's like a crack. I could see like, we're pretty far up off the floor again. I was like, okay, there's like 20 feet below us. Great. The ride vehicle at one point starts shaking a little bit and it drops a few feet. People are starting to panic in my ride vehicle. We have kids crying.
You're like live texting me all day.
I was like live, and I was videoing. I actually have some crazy videos from this.
Yeah, I was just sitting down the street drinking a champagne. You're like, I'm so sorry this is taking so long. I was like, take your time, girl.
Yeah, I was like, it was like really getting like intense because like, again, the ride vehicle was shaking, moving. The kids were starting to cry and freak out. Some like adult human was having a panic attack behind me. It was getting really bad. So the worker comes up with the flashlight. He's shining it up at us. He's like, we're going to get you down soon. Don't worry. Just stay calm, whatever, all this stuff. We were like, oh my God. He's like, don't get up. Like, whatever, stay seated. So another like 10 minutes go by. And then he's like, all right, we're ready. We're ready to move you through. Okay, ready? So then they start literally just like, they just moved the vehicle through the ride without the ride like show scenes actually working. So we were just like being flung around in this ride vehicle with nothing happening. So we were like passing through all these show scenes until like they basically like fast forwarded us through the ride. And then that's how we got off.
Absurd.
It was crazy. Like and it was so weird because like the lights were like on at this point, so I could see like animatronics that were just like frozen there. Like I saw like a giant like rhinoceros animatronic.
Yeah,
it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then we got off and they gave us a fast pass, and I was like, ugh, yeah. I don't know if I want to do that again.
Yeah, great.
So that was my experience with the Ministry of Magic. So I didn't actually get to finish the ride. I basically rode the first, like, maybe a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is like unforgivable. If like this is clearly your marquee attraction, it was the single ride that had the consistently longest wait the entire time we were there. It's what everybody's going there for. It's what everyone wants to do. Like that's their big one, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't even operate it effectively at like quarter capacity within a month of opening. And on top of that, like you don't have a better plan for like evac or like getting people through and off the ride in an emergency situation other than like just sit here in the dark and like don't panic for 20 minutes. Like, I'm sorry, like that's crazy. And like,
It's pretty crazy.
That's not me being a hater because I said this about Tiana's Bayou Adventure when it opened too. But like, like they have a better evacuation plan. Like that's really.
And me and the girl who I
good.
made friends with, we literally were like just looking at each other. We were just shocked. We literally waited in that crazy single riders line, which was perhaps longer than the standby line, just to get stuck on this ride. We were like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's wild.
It was wild. I was like, wow, this is, but in a weird way, like I'm kind of like happy it happened because I'm like, well, that's a good story. And I got some like crazy weird footage.
Yeah.
Even though you're not supposed to videotape, but whatever, I did.
It's also not supposed to break, so
true.
What are you going to do?
So yeah, after that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I needed a drink.
Yeah. We wandered our way out of then the Ministry Land and we crossed basically diagonally across the park over to Super Nintendo.
No, we did Stardust.
Oh God. I blocked it out of my memory, clearly.
Maybe the most intense roller coaster I've ever been on. Actually, I know it was. That was so intense.
Absolutely.
It was wild.
Horrible. Immediately regret. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard it's intense, but like, it's
We'll be fine.
We've done intense coasters before, whatever. They have like metal detectors before you get on the ride, which is also crazy. You're literally like walking up to the ride vehicle. You have to put all your stuff like in a locker and everything, which is nice. They do have the lockers like provided to you like at, Universal, whatever. But like they're having a strip to get on this. Like
literally, I had to take off my belt.
I had a pin on my shirt.
Yeah,
pin.
you had to take off a
like
pin.
Regular enamel pin. They were like, that's gonna have to get checked.
I was like,
what?
I asked the worker, I was like, do things fly off this like all the time? He was like, yeah, we don't want to have like another dueling dragon situation. Yeah, like it's intense. He's like, people have lost stuff on this, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, so we had to multiple times. We like put stuff in a locker, came up. They're like, no, back down, took stuff off, put it in the locker, came back up, walked through a metal detector, get on this ride.
Yeah, you have to walk through a metal detector to get on this ride.
Crazy.
Which is wild.
Easily the most intense ride of any kind I've ever been on. Certainly most intense roller coaster. And I've done some intense ones. You've done.
And it's crazy because it doesn't look, it's like not like, it doesn't look big. Like it's like pretty like compact.
Yeah.
The area that it covers. Honey.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My brain was like scrambled.
It's the double launch. So spoiler alert, there's a double launch in the beginning, which I did not know.
Yeah.
So like it launches you, but then it launches you like again faster.
So there's like an initial like, and you're like, oh my God, we're really going. And then it goes, like kicks it up to 11.
Kicks it up. Yeah, it's crazy.
Flying, and then you're like,
and then it does that again. There's another launch after that.
Yeah, I think that's what really was killer, is that it was just relentless. Like the entire time, it's so intense and it never settles down. It gets worse. It's like, wow, this is so intense. Oh my God, it's even more intense than it was before. And then just as you're getting used to like that level of intensity, they're like, how about another launch? So then there's a third one. And it's a long coaster. It's like a good 2 minutes or so. Like you're just like up and down, twisting and like all over the place. The entire time I was like, I'm in such regret. This is horrible.
It was wild.
It was really intense.
So intense.
Yeah, we got off that and I was like, I need a ginger ale, daddy.
Yeah, literally.
It was so intense. I didn't feel like I was going to hurl or anything. It was mostly just like my head was like...
No, I was literally vibrating. Like after I got off the ride, like my body was just like shaking.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was also like the heat too. So then we were like, okay, we probably should eat something because I feel like I may faint.
Yeah.
And we did.
So then we
had some nice grilled chicken.
Yeah, and then I had food that I would say is more consistent with my Universal dining experience. It was subpar. Not even really worth discussing. No, it was just like a not great theme park salad. And then we wandered over to Nintendo. So then by this point, which I would say is the other really, like, of the lands there, I would say it's like the other, like, really impressive, like, immersive, really big in scale.
2 sections. I mean, it feels very immersive. I was extremely impressed. The only thing I wasn't impressed with as we've discussed, just like the amount of stairs.
Unbelievable. That one especially.
Like you go up an escalator, then you're on a very high second level, and then to get to like the main floor of the land, you have to walk back downstairs, a like very large flight of stairs.
Yeah. And then to ride anything, you have to go back
up the stairs. So it's just sometimes I'm just like,
Yeah.
The design choices, interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot of steps. A lot.
It's a lot. We rode the little Yoshi adventure or whatever it's called, the little thing. I was expecting it to be like a people mover ride where I was like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to see like the whole land from up here and whatever. It is in that like it's elevated and you can kind of see stuff, but it's not in that it is like comically slow. Like I was like, is this a joke? Like how slow it's moving? It's literally like crawling. I mean, it's literally for like 3-year-olds.
It's supposed to be like interactive, but I'm really not sure what we were interacting with.
It's mostly just like buttons light up
like
and you can press them.
Buttons. I didn't really understand.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine. I used my fast pass then for the Donkey Kong roller coaster. Loved it. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, that whole
section was just so cool. A lot of kinetic energy again. Like, it was just very bright and fun. Just
cool.
like, yeah, it's really cool. That ride, honestly, I wasn't expecting much out of it, but like it was more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
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 Loved it. The illusion of like jumping the track actually was quite effective.
Yeah.
They really do like shake you around. So like when you like are jumping it, you really feel like you land when you're like in the car because the car's like shaking and rattling and rolling.
It looks super exciting.
It was fun.
I absolutely would have ridden it if I had my little lightning pass.
It was fun.
But I didn't express.
The only thing, again, sight lines. While riding that roller coaster, I was like, oh, there's the parking lot.
Yeah.
And like just like the backstage area.
Yeah.
Like
neat. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Could definitely see it on Stardust Racers too.
Yeah.
The whole Stardust Racers, because it definitely like goes out of the bounds of the park. I was screaming at it. I was like, there's the poop factory. Like
literally. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that. Again, more whiffs of like the smell in Super Nintendo Land. You could really smell it. So we left there, and then it was starting to get like dusk at this point. So we were like, oh, let's take a second to like start to take in the vibes in Celestial Park. We probably have a little bit of time left. So we went, had another kind of weird team member interaction. There's like a soft serve place, and then it comes with like sprinkle toppings, and they were like, they had them sitting out in little like Jello shot cups, like for you to like pick from. And they were like, pick any of these, and we were like, okay, I'll have this one. They're like, we're out of that one. I'm like, why is it sitting out to choose then if it's not an?
You choose like two, and they were like, we're out of that. We're out of that.
It's not like they were like on a board, and I was like
they
pointing
were, like,
to a
in front of
sign.
you.
It was literally like they just
Cups.
clearly put them up on the counter. So I'm like, just take them off the counter. If you're out of them, why are you? What's happening here? I don't understand. Just logic is evading me. I don't get what's happening with these people. So I don't know. It's just a weird interaction. And again, at this point, it was late in the day. I was like, what is going on in this place?
Yeah.
So
sat by the fountain.
Custard. We watched the little fountain show.
It's cute.
Cute, yeah. And then the very end of the night, we were like, let's go over, because we hadn't really done anything in Burke yet. So we walked over to the How to Train Your Dragon stuff. Having now just seen...
I was just going to say, we just saw the movie last night, the remake.
Pretty accurate representation. The Burke is Birkin.
Burke is Birkin.
Yeah. Still not for me, but happy to those who celebrate.
I liked it. The movie, I like both. The land was cool. I mean, I love the OG animated. I'm not like a die-hard fan, but like I enjoy all of the movies. So it was cool. Like I enjoyed the land. I thought it was very immersive again. Gorgeous, gorgeous gowns. Yeah. The ride was fun.
So we got to ride Hiccups. Really fun. It's the
Yeah.
same thing I did when I went myself during the previews. That's how I closed out my day too. I was like, it's the last thing of the night, and it's really fun to ride at night.
Yeah, I think it was like more exciting than I thought it would be too. It wasn't. It was not. It didn't feel like a kiddie roller coaster. I was like, no, this is like intense. I think that was like my overall feeling too. Is like, wow, that was more intense than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Every single thing.
Every single thing we did. I was like, wow, that was really intense.
It's a cute coaster narrated by Jennifer Coolidge or whatever. He's like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, welcome to Hiccup Swing Gliders.
Yeah. It was all right. Yeah. It was a fun coaster,
it was cute.
though.
I love the roller.
Double launch, it goes backwards at one point. It's crazy.
Really fun.
Super fun, really fun way. And then literally to like actually end the night then we were like caught the like show that they do there. It's not fireworks, it's like fountain.
It's giving like a small World of Color vibe.
Yeah, mini.
Yeah, mini World.
cool. They make the different portals light up. The lights on the like general celestial like plaza light up too and everything. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it was cool to be able to catch that. They play the music and everything of the different themes of the various like shows and stuff. And then we walked back to the hotel because
we can exit through the hotel.
Cool. Yeah,
you can't.
You can't. Which again just feels like a customer service thing. I'm like, just put a sign at the bottom because there's like a
they
big
still let
ramp.
you walk up to it, and then you just like can't go in, which is like fine. But the first time you were there, you were able to go in, so that's the only reason.
Yeah, so I thought for sure I was like, oh, it's perfect. We'll go in the hotel. You can see the vibes from in there. I'm like, if you're not going to let guests go into the hotel, then like there needs to be signage before you walk up multiple flights of stairs to get to the hotel that says only guests with key cards are permitted to enter the Grand Helios Hotel. Not a thing. So again, they were just like, no, we got to go out that way. So we're at the very back of the park now. Have to cross through the entire park again to the front to leave. It's a small park
because we had to walk through the entire park again.
And then we had our final magical interaction. Wild.
This really like kind of summed up my overall feeling of the day. Really. This interaction was just like, wow. It left me, I don't even know how I felt after, but I was just like, wow, I'm just so excited to go back to Disney.
Get me back to God's country.
That was really like how I left the park. So we ordered the Uber. We're waiting in like the pickup area. There's a lot of people waiting as well.
No benches.
People are sitting on the ground.
Crazy.
And there's one security guard there, and he was talking to some people near us, and I saw him looking at us, and I was like, I just feel like this man is about to come and talk to us.
He did.
He just looked like he was ready, and he did. He walked up to us, and he started talking to us, and we were like, hi, like, we were friendly, whatever. He's like, God, is anybody else just so excited to go home and take a bath with a toaster?
We were both like,
I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
It's like, is that what?
We tried to like shake it off. We were like, long day.
Yeah, like
yeah.
He was like,
and then he immediately follows up with, he's like, raise your hand if you've ever seen somebody lose.
First he said, I'm so glad I don't have to work here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm off. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we were like, wow.
And he's like, yeah. Then he goes,
yeah, he's like, raise your hand if you ever seen somebody lose 3 of their fingers. And we were like,
he's like, you wouldn't even believe the things I've seen here
we were
working
like, what?
Here. We were like, okay.
He just kept going.
And then he's like, did you ever see anybody die on a fentanyl overday? Like, no.
He's like, why?
He said 2 people, matter of fact. He said, thanks, Ministry of Magic.
We were like,
he was like,
what?
They were the construction workers on Ministry of Magic. And I was like, well, that explains why the ride broke down. It's haunted.
It's cursed. Yeah.
I was like, that's also like very sad. Yeah. But like also like, why are you telling us that?
Just like spilling all their business out here. You probably should not do that.
No.
And then really the most magical. So after all this, Nick and I are both just like,
you're like,
please stop talking to me.
Stop.
Waiting on our Uber still. And then he goes, what time is it? Is it 10 o'clock yet? And I was like, it's 9:37. He goes, I think I'm just going to go.
Take a slow walk.
And he just literally walked off on the job.
His shift was over at 10. He left it.
We were both like, and then we got in our Uber and literally on the ride back, we were like, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That
interaction really was crazy.
Like on so many levels. I'm like, first of all, don't say any of that to a guest ever, right? Especially like at the end of the day, I just feel like especially at Disney, right? They're so concerned, especially on those buses, those boats, whatever, when you're leaving the parks, they know that that's your like kiss goodnight. Yeah. And they're always giving like, oh, what was your favorite thing you did today?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we'll see you real soon. When do you go? What do you have going on tomorrow? Oh, that's so fun. Oh, you're leaving tomorrow? Well, we can't wait to see you again, whatever. Last impression, kiss goodnight. Some people save up for years to come here. They only come here every few years. It's special, whatever. Yeah, epic. He was like, I don't give a shit. I'm telling you about how horrible it is to work here, how miserable I am right now in this moment, and I'm going to quit right now as we speak. Literally. And then I'm going to go home and kill myself. And we were both like,
so horrible.
Wow, okay.
We were like, all right. Well.
It was just like a lot. It was a very like that to be your lasting impression leaving there. I was like, it really is like the contrast could not be more clear.
Yeah, and then we like driving away, I feel like I was like in shock a little bit with just the way that ended, and then literally going over the border into Disney, I was just like, oh my God, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, it really is just like
night and day.
Night and day. I was just like, oh, thank God we're back.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that the park isn't outstanding. Like, it's a gorgeous park. It's brand new. It's state of the art. But like, you know, it's just those little things that I'm just like, it makes all the difference. Like, it could really like make or break a day.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing we were saying about it afterwards. And this was before we had even gone to Disney. And then as the trip had ended after ending at Disney, it's like all of those intangible little interactions with cast members, with other people who go the extra mile, who like, you know, are friendly in the face of challenges and adversity and stuff, who like try to make your visit special and bring friendliness and customer service. Like, that is the magic. The people are the magic that are like making it. It's like, yeah, maybe the ride vehicles are, you know, more advanced in one or the other, or like, you know, whatever, certain IP resonates with you more or something. But like the level of just like, you know, people bringing magic and like prioritizing that at Disney is just, I don't even want to.
It's next level. You know, I really haven't been to Universal in a really long time. Maybe since like 2015. Like, it's been a really long time. So, you know, I've like gone to Disney a bunch since then, and I've had like moments where I'm just like, ugh, like, oh my God, like everything is like going wrong, whatever. But like, then after like being at Epic and like having these interactions, I'm just like kind of like low key just like so back to like being impressed by Disney and just being like, I feel like I took it for granted a little bit, because you just don't even realize how much extra care and like patience and like goes like into the interactions that you have with cast members at Disney. Like, it's just so different.
Yeah. And like, I will just say before it sounds like we're just like ragging on them, I'm like, no one's saying that either park or either place or whatever isn't allowed to have like breakdowns or hiccups or mistakes. It happens. You've heard me talk on here about how frustrating it is when like Tiana's and other big things go down at Disney. I've had my fair share of disappointments and frustrating experiences there. It's just what happens. These places are enormous. They're huge, complicated machines with 1,000 moving parts, like both literally the ride machines themselves, but like the parks themselves, everything in them, the restaurants, the people, whatever. So you expect there to be mistakes. It's just like how they manage them and how they manage people through them and like customer interactions that makes all the difference. And again, just speaking for like me, I'm not trying to project this onto anybody else. Like, some people that doesn't matter, right? Some people are just going because they want to like ride as many things as they can ride, or they want to ride a more thrilling or intense ride, or they just like the IP better at one or the other, and that's totally fine. But what I'm saying, for me, when you're spending that much money to go somewhere, like, I do really want to be like treated well as a customer, as a guest. Like, I want to have that experience, and it does make a big difference to me.
Exactly. And I just feel like, just to go off of that, I agree. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other, because honestly, like, Universal might be for some people more than it is for myself and others. Like, obviously it just depends on what you're into, but like, for me, it was just like so like noticeable, like the difference.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that, like, again, like Epic Universe is an incredible park, state of the art, technologically advanced,
beautiful.
Again, it's a brand new park. We're expecting there to be operational issues, which I think they're still working through, like those opening day kinks, which is like totally understandable and fine. But yeah, I guess it's just, I don't know.
You had to give it a letter grade. What would you give it?
A letter grade. Overall, like the entire overall experience of Epic.
Yeah.
I would give it a B.
Yeah. Just like a solid B.
A solid B.
Like 85. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think that's fair. It's just hard because it's like how, you know, grading works, where it's like you may have some really good stuff, but if you have one really bad thing, it'll pull you down. Like, like,
so true.
And we had like a couple that were like,
yeah. I also really don't want to sound like we're being like stuck up about this either, but like, if you were there, you would understand. Like, these experiences were like, I was like, why are you telling us these things?
I think it's hard to overstate how much the end of the day really, like I said, it leaves a lasting impression. I'm like, had that not happened, I think it'd be much easier to write off any of the other little things. Oh my God, the ride broke. Or like, oh, we had these weird interactions with other scenes.
The ride breaking, that was whatever to me. I was like, I've been on rides where they've broken down before. I will say, like, the single rider line did kind of make me angry, because that's just like, It felt very
what's
misleading and unfair. The
Yeah.
fact that like literally the single rider's line was exactly the same amount as the standby, if not longer. So that was one thing. But also just like the interaction.
I mean, listen, like Grace Randolph, your queen, always says in a movie, if you get the bookends right, like the opening
the
and
beginning
closing,
and
you
then.
can forgive a lot in the middle. And we had a really strong start. We had a
Really,
great
really
meal
strong
when we
start.
first got in. We
Yeah.
rode this incredible ride. We loved the like Monsters Unchained. And then like some stuff happened in the middle immediately after Monsters Unchained. That team member was like, it was boring. I hated it. We were like, okay. We had a couple weird things in the middle of the day, all the Harry Potter stuff happening, whatever. It's just that like the end of the day, we had a great experience. We rode hiccups. We thought it was super fun. I would love to have been able to leave on that note and be like, wow, this was a great day. We had so much fun. Instead, we left on a team member literally being like, I'm going to kill myself when I go home. I hate it here. We were like, okay. It's just very hard to like have that be your like lasting impression.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Hey.
Yeah. So anyway.
It's like kind of sad. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, now I'm sad.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful park. I hope everyone gets
Yeah.
to experience it sooner rather than
Agreed.
later. You should definitely go and see it. The
Yeah.
Harry Potter stuff especially is so
Incredible.
impressive. That
Especially
show is incredible.
that show itself. I feel like that show is worth every penny of admission.
Yes,
like
and
that
eat at
show's
Pizza
incredible.
Moon. Tell them
Eat
we
at
sent
Pizza
you.
Moon.
Yeah.
Pizza Moon's so good.
Ride Monsters Unchained. So
One of the best rides I've ever been on. for
really
sure.
just like take some time in Celestial Park to like vibe.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Shop. The shopping's great.
Shopping's really good, especially in the Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a very fair overview of Epic Universe.
I think so too. I mean, we were literally just telling our exact experience. That's the tea.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
So until next time, this was Here's to It. I'm Eric.
And I'm Nick.
And we'll see you real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.